It was the deep hour of the night, enveloping me in darkness, and silence pervaded every corner of my home. Awakening unexpectedly, I felt that something was amiss. An unusual tension hung in the air, making me alert. Everything was quiet, yet a primal, unnatural fear gripped me. Initially, I dismissed it as a mere nightmare, but the more I tried to calm myself, the stronger the lingering unease became. I rose from my bed, breathing heavily, as if the air itself was saturated with something ominous. A primitive, otherworldly fear consumed me, as if my body sensed something my mind couldn't comprehend. My gaze instinctively darted towards the window, as if an inner voice whispered that something was amiss, despite my curtains being tightly drawn. For a moment, childhood fears of hidden monsters beneath the bed flashed through my mind. But this was different. My trembling hand reached for the curtains, and I decisively pulled them aside. What I saw in the dark of the night froze my heart with terror. Before me stretched a sight that defied description. Enormous, distorted shadows traversed my yard, like ghostly figures condemned to eternal wandering. These silhouettes had no definite form, yet their presence was undeniably real. My eyes followed every movement of these shadows, and in that moment I realized they were the shadows of the deceased. They floated through the darkness, as if summoned by some mysterious force. Suddenly, a dark aura hung in the air, making the hair on my arm stand on end. My subconscious whispered that these ghostly shadows carried unrest and malevolence, yet I couldn't fathom why they had chosen me. Fear, intensified by a sense of futility, gripped me entirely. Stepping away from the window, I felt a creaking beneath my feet. My eyes lowered, and in the dim light, I discerned footprints, strange imprints that clearly didn't belong to me or any rational thought. They were peculiar, as if left by someone traversing between the realms of light and darkness. Not willing to remain passive, I decided to delve further into the unfolding mystery. My heart pounded as I followed the tracks through an abandoned courtyard, as if they led to an unexplored world. One footprint after another led me to a forgotten graveyard, where darkness hung so thick it seemed to extend beyond the boundaries of this world. The shadows deepened, and the wind carried indistinct whispers. Fear within me reached its zenith, yet I pressed on. Suddenly, something dark and massive loomed ahead. As I approached, my heart ceased its rapid beats in astonishment. Before me stood a monumental structure, like a bridge between worlds. Towering gates adorned with symbols I couldn't recognize seemed to be portals to the unknown. Out of the shadows emerged a figure. Devoid of a defined form, with shimmering eyes, it turned its gaze toward me. Fear paralyzed me, rendering me unable to move. Yet its gaze was not malevolent. Instead, I sensed a profound sadness. "You have awakened us," echoed in my mind. The voice wasn't menacing, but it carried the weight of centuries. "We waited for you. Your dream stirred us from oblivion." The creature reached towards the sky with a shimmering hand, and from the gates emerged more shadows. However, these weren't as foreboding. They seemed liberated from the shackles of the past, ready to embrace a new era. I realized my fear wasn't solely about the shadows, but about the unknown, about that which we cannot comprehend or control. The world I had awakened harbored both darkness and light, but now it was a world where past and future could intertwine. The creature turned to me with gratitude in its eyes, and the gates closed behind them, leaving me alone. Fear dissipated, replaced by a sense of purpose. Returning home, I understood that my dream was just the beginning. I became a witness to the transition from the past to the future, a bridge between worlds awakened by my slumber. My fear transformed into understanding, and now I carried a secret that blurred the boundaries between reality and darkness. But here the story ends abruptly. Suddenly, I wake up lying in my bed. Was it a dream within a dream, or did I truly witness a passage between worlds? One thing is certain: the boundaries between light and darkness are not as clear-cut as they seem, and in our dreams, Something may hide that awakens our unconscious from centuries-long slumber.